Yeah. So like if we recap, right, what we have discussed, right, like Splunk has two softwares, right? One is like Enterprise Edition. Okay, this will be the like server side installation. On the client side, right, you have to install Universal Forwarder. So let us assume like we have some setup like this. I have my application here, okay, and which runs on some Linux OS, and it is having some like OS logs. The OS logs will be present in where log slash where log messages. Okay, and I have some application which is like Tomcat that is installed on the same server. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to, and the path for that is slash app slash slash abc.log. So my requirement is something like I have to ship my logs to my from my application server which is installed on my Linux to the Splunk indexer. As I mentioned earlier, right, Splunk will be having like multiple components. Splunk will have something like indexer which stores the data. There will be one component which is called as the search head. Okay, search head is used for searching the data from the indexer. If this is the indexer, and you will have some search head. So whenever you write a query, right, what will happen, right? Whenever the user writes a query, the search head will search the data that is present in something called like an indexer. Okay, this is the index. In that indexer, there will be something like index. Okay, here index is equal to ABC. This is my index. What is index? Basically, Splunk doesn't have any DB. Okay, Splunk stores everything in a directory structure. Okay, like if you have an index ABC, it will create a directory and it will store there. If you have something like DEF index, then it will store in that index. Now my requirement is something like my use case is I have to send my logs, which is var log messages, as well as my application logs to the indexer. Okay, this is this part we are targeting now. This is the part we are targeting now. Like component, Splunk has multiple components, right? Component by component we will add in our future classes. For now, right, this is the lab. So as I mentioned earlier, right, we will be having the lab on our Google Cloud. So if I want to open the Google Cloud, right, now what I have to type is console console.google sorry console.cloud.google.com. Okay, if I issue this command, right, if I issue this in my browser, right, my Google Cloud will be opened. Okay, we will be creating lab over here. Here, if I want to ship the logs here I have to have something like Universal Forwarder. This is the Universal Forwarder is the software which will act as an agent, which should be it is an agent. Basically it will ship the logs from here to my indexer. Okay, this is the first rule. First on indexer, right, two things I have to do. One is like, okay, one second. First, now here I am having my Google Cloud. In that I will be installing Linux. Okay, I will be installing Linux CentOS with version 7. I will be installing. Okay, next, second thing is I have to install Splunk. I will be installing Splunk as an indexer. Third rule is something like, you know, SSH command, right? SSH will have some port, default port as 22. Okay, and MSTSC remote desktop will have some port like 389. So every protocol will have some port, right? Using that port only they will communicate. Even the Splunk also, if for receiving the data, now this he is the sender. The sender is sending the data, he is sending the logs. So it will accept the logs in one particular port called 9997. This is the incoming port. For an indexer to store the data, right, I should have a port 9997 opened on my indexer. Okay, and second rule is like this will have some web UI. So the web UI for Splunk will run on 8000 port. So I have to make sure if I install my indexer, right, I should make sure like this incoming port and this web UI port should be enabled. Else I won't be able to launch the UI, or even if the sender sends the data, it won't reach the Splunk indexer. Okay. So if you install the package itself, this port will be enabled. Okay. The Splunk will start this port, but 9997 we have to enable. To accept the traffic or accept the logs. Now my Splunk Enterprise Edition is ready to accept the logs from my sender. Okay, till now any doubts? Okay, now I have to install some software called as like Universal Folder here. Okay, here also if I want to start an application, right, first step would be something like install OS. Okay, same OS I will be installing, CentOS. Second thing is like install Universal Forwarder. So this is the package which should be installed on my client. Now once I install the client, right, client software, I should provide two instructions. One is like I have to provide some configuration, what I have to send and where I have to send. Correct, right? Okay. Now I have to provide two configurations. If I install standalone universal forwarder, it won't work out. But I have to do some configuration because I am having something like multiple indexers in my real time, and I will be having multiple uh, applications over here. In each machine or each Linux machine, I have to send like I have to provide some instructions saying like where to send and what to send. Okay, what to send configuration will be done using inputs.conf. Okay, there will be one path. So let me test this one. Once we installation path would be something like opt. So in slash opt folder we will be installing the Splunk. Okay, this is my Splunk package folder. Okay, now if I want to provide the instructions, right, my path would be something like this: slash opt Splunk slash etc slash system slash local. Okay, this is basically the path where I have to do the configuration. This is applicable for both receiving and sending. Okay, so in this path, right, I have to do my configuration, and in this path there will be two files. One is like inputs.conf. inputs dot in inputs.conf I should mention what data I should send. Here I have to mention like if I want to send this and this log like var log messages and app logs abc.log, right? In inputs.conf, right, I have to mention that configuration. Okay, and where to send, right, that will be done using the outputs.conf. There is one more thing called like outputs.conf. Okay, in outputs.conf, right, I will be mentioning the server. There will be some stanza I will mention. Just a second. Yeah, so in inputs.conf, right, I have to mention some stanza that is called as like monitor. Okay, monitor followed by two forward slashes, and I have to mention the file path. Like in my case, right, if I want to send my applications logs, I have to give the path like app slash logs slash abc dot log. Okay, now if I put my configuration in this stanza, right, with this, then only the Splunk universal forwarder would be able to send to this indexer. Now where I have to store this data, basically I have to store it in this abc index, no, this log file. Here I have to mention something like index is equal to abc, and there will be one flag called disable. Disable is equal to 0 I will give. So let us assume like there is one scenario where this one of the Linux machine, right, it is sending the logs, it is dumping the logs. So what your manager has told you, right, to stop the logs, you stop sending the logs from this machine to this indexer. Okay, then what I have to do, right, I have to put the disabled is equal to 1. 1 means enable, 0 means disable. Sorry, 1 means true. If you want to say, right, 1 means true, 0 means false. Zero. Oh, this keyboard is not working. Yeah. So here there is something like disable is equal to, if I give 0, right, it is false. Internally you consider it as false. If I give 1, no, that is as true. Now I have to send logs. So my configuration would be something like 0. And I have to mention what type of data it is, whether it is like a log or it is a JSON or it can be a Apache log or it can be a MySQL log. So there is one more flag called as source type. So this will mention like what type of log it is, whether it is a like a Tomcat log or a web server log. Okay, that will be mentioned in the source type. Okay, and in output.conf, right, I have to mention something like there will be one stanza called as tcp out. In my tcp out, I will be mentioning something like abc, and I will be giving the server equal to, I have to mention this indexer ip. Let me put something like this. It's is 15.15.15.15 is the ip address. So here I have to put something like 15.15.15.15 and followed by the port on which it receives the traffic. So I will be giving the IP address followed by the port 9997, because it will accept the traffic only in this port. There will be one more port called 8089. Okay, that is the management port. This 8089, what it will do, right? It will check the health status or the configurations, right? That will be done using the 8089. So this, there are three ports involved in this scenario. One is 8000. This is for opening the web UI. 9997 port is for receiving the traffic. Let us assume like if these both want to talk to each other, no, like like universal forwarder component and the indexer component, right? That communication will happen via 8089. Let us assume like this went down. Okay, this went down, universal forwarder went down. How this indexer would know, right? This will use this 8089 to check the status when it comes back also. Clear? Any doubts? Okay, so we'll go into the lab. Now in Google Cloud, right, in the left side we will have something like navigation menu. In that, if I want to spin an instance, right, I have to go to, in compute there is one service called like compute engine. In compute engine, in VM instances, I have to create the instance. Whenever I create for the first time, right, this thing will come. I mean, this page will come. I have to click on create. I have to wait for a couple of minutes. Here I have to mention the instance name. This will be the permanent actually. So you can't change the, in Google Cloud, you can't change the name of the instance. So I will put it as an indexer. Okay, I am naming it as an indexer. Now I don't want to touch the region, and I will change this configuration. This is the hardware which I want to choose. Now I will be selecting something like yeah, 2 vCPU and 4 GB RAM. Okay, and currently, right, it is mapped with Debian. Okay, I will be using my, for my lab now, I will be using the CentOS. Okay, and some storage of around like 20 GB is allocated. This should be sufficient to install the indexer. Now, as I'm having HTTP traffic, right, here I want to allow my web UI component. No, I have to open my Splunk. So that runs on HTTP protocol. No, so I have to allow like HTTP and HTTPS. If I want to allow the HTTP and HTTPS traffic, right, I have to select these two checkboxes and click on create. Okay, there is some error. Okay, the thing is like everything should be in lowercase. The name should be in lowercase. There should not be any uppercase letters. Click on create. So once the instance is started, right, we will be getting two IPs. One is internal IP and one is external IP. Meantime, right, what I will do, right, I will try to download the Splunk Enterprise Edition. Okay, Splunk will have two softwares. One is Enterprise Edition and one is the Universal Forwarder. Okay, and there for search head or heavy forwarder or indexer or deployment server, right, you have to install the Enterprise Edition and convert to that component. Okay, now I will try to install. Okay, now I got my public IP. If I want to SSH into this Linux machine, now I have to click on this SSH. Google Cloud will be directly authenticated. Okay, we no need to enter username and password. We will be authenticated. Just a second. Now I will download my Splunk. So for downloading the Splunk, I actually 2 days back it was like only 8.1 version, 8.1.1. Looks like today only they released this 8.1.2. Okay, for downloading the Splunk, right, you need to log in into this like Splunk site, and you have to download. You can register by giving your credentials here. So you have to give your user like first name, last name, mobile number, and you have to choose your username and agree on this and click on create account. Your account will be created. This is pretty straightforward. Okay, just I will log in. I will stop the screen share for a while. So now I have logged into this Splunk site. Here, right, I am given three distributions. One is like Windows, Linux, and Mac. So the Splunk can be installed on these operating systems. For now, right, I am going with the star-based installation. If I want, I can install RPM also, but this will be specific to RPM based CentOS or Red Hat. If I want to install on Ubuntu, I can use this one, Debian. Okay, if I use this one, right, tar based installation, this installation will be generic for Debian as well as the RPM or any other distribution. Okay, now I will try to download. When I click on download, right, some wget command will be opened. The Splunk, they won't directly download the software here. They will give a command called wget from where you can download this Splunk. Okay, now I have copied it. Now I am into my indexer. Okay, sudo -i, if I give no, I will be logged in. I will be getting the root user. I have to give something like sudo -i. Then I will be logged in as a root. Okay, now I have to update the existing packages. Yum update -y. If I issue, right, all the packages, like if there is any, I mean, like kernel or something that needs to be updated, no, that will be updated, because this we will be getting the latest version. No, we don't know on which architecture, on which version they have built. So like normal, it is a best practice to update all the packages. So they are installing some Google SDK. Okay, meanwhile we'll install, we'll try to create one more instance for our application server. Okay, I will be calling it as like application. This is the application, and I will be choosing like 1 GB and 1 GB RAM and 2 vCPU. That is sufficient. Here I will be changing it to CentOS, and I will be allowing this HTTP traffic and click on create. Okay, my application will be this also will be installed. Okay, meanwhile I will issue the same because it will take some time. this package updation. Sudo -i, I'll be getting the root access, update -y. In my application server also, I will be updating the packages. Okay, it got struck, it seems. Now it is fine. Okay, now I'm coming back to my indexer. If I copy paste the same command which I copied from my Splunk site, right, it won't work. So in this site, I have downloaded this, I have used this wget command. No, if I straight away put over here and execute, no, it won't work. Okay, wget won't work. So I have to install the wget package. Okay, and click on Y. In this here also I should do the same. Install wget. Okay. So some process is running in the back end. I have to close it. So 1334. Yum install wget. Now I have installed my wget in my both application as well as the indexers. Okay. In my indexer machine, this is the indexer. If you see here, right, I root at indexer.com. I can issue this wget command. Okay. Now that Splunk package will be downloaded automatically. So if I hit here, no, if I give ll or ls, right, I can see my package is downloaded. As I mentioned in my diagram, the installation path for this Splunk is /opt. So I have to move my package to /opt. Okay, and my package name is Splunk. Okay, I'm moving my package to /opt folder. cd/opt. My package is present. tar-zx vf, and I have to give this Splunk package directory, that package name. Now it will extract the Splunk. Post this extraction is done, right? Just start the, you have to go to bin file and start the Splunk. That's it. Okay. If I give right, if I give ls, right, it created one directory called Splunk. So if I want to start the Splunk, right, I have to go to cd/splunk opt splunk/bin. Okay, here all my installation scripts will be there to start the Splunk, and other Python scripts will be there. So I have to use Splunk. There will be one script called Splunk. This is the script which I will be using. Okay, if I want to start the Splunk, dot slash Splunk start hyphen hyphen accept hyphen, I have to give this command. Okay, then it will automatically accept the license, and this you can use this Splunk for around like 60 days. The validity of this license, whatever we are using, right, whatever we have downloaded, is 60 days. Okay, post that, right, what you can do, right, you can destroy it and you can create again with the same package. Okay, now I have to give the username, administrative username, for logging into the console. So I am giving as admin, and I am providing some password. Admin. Okay, that's it. My installation will start, and if you see here, right, it is checking for the port 8000, and it is checking for the port 8999, and we'll see these ports in later, that KV store and all those, right, in future classes we'll see. For now, right, as per my this thing, right, we are dealing with only these two ports. Okay, these two things will be automatically enabled by Splunk, and you have to enable only this 9997 port to make it this as an indexer and to accept the traffic. Now if I want to log in into this machine, now what I have to do, right, I have to go to my Splunk, and I have to see the public IP. I have copied the public IP triple 8000 and click on enter. So my WebUI is installed for my indexer. Okay, now as I mentioned, now we have done this part. We have done this Linux installation, and we have done this Splunk installation. Now the third part is like I have to enable the 9997 for accepting the logs. In my settings, I will be seeing something like forwarding and receiving. Under data, there will be something like forwarding and receiving. Okay, here what I have to do, right, I have to, there are two sections. One is like forward data and receive data. Actually I want to make this Splunk to receive the data, so I have to enable the port here. I have to click on add new, and I have to give something like 9997 and save. Now my indexer is ready. It will accept the traffic. So this part is done. This whatever the part, oh, sorry, and there is one more thing, right, we have to create an index ABC, that is pending. So we are done with this enabling the port, but I have to have an index to receive the logs. No, now I have to create an index called ABC. How we will create the index? Here in settings, there will be one option called like indexes. Under the forwarding and receiving only, there will be one option called as indexes. Here I have to create one index. Here I have to click on add a new index, and here I will be creating ABC. Okay, now I have created my index over here and clicked on save. Now I am done with this part. I have created even the index. Now what I have to do? I have to do this configuration in my in my application server. I have to install this component called as like, this is also done, no? OS we have installed. Next thing is like, you have to install universal forwarder and have to mention what to send and where to send. That can be done using the inputs.conf and outputs.conf in this directory. Okay, here you will have, you won't have Splunk, but you will have something like Splunk forwarder. Okay, just I mentioned. Okay, now I will be installing the, okay, voice is breaking. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Now it is fine, right? Can you confirm? Hope my voice is clear. Okay, thanks. Now we are done with this configuration. Now I have to install my universal folder. For that, right, I have to download that package. Here you can directly Google like download universal forwarder. Really, you lost my voice. Ravi, others can listen. Others are able to hear. Yeah. Here I can download something like I can download universal forwarder again. Else, right, it will be present here only. Whenever you configure your indexer, now whenever you download your indexer, in the next, here itself you will find the link to the universal forwarder, or you can Google it. It's your wish. So I'm clicking here and I'm going to this universal forwarder. Okay, it is a lightweight. It is something like a 70 MB file. Okay, now if you take that heavy forward, right, it is like 400 MB odd file. It is a lightweight, and we are having like, it is compatible with Solaris, Mac, AX, multiple operating systems, and multiple like Windows, and even the architectures also AR and something like that. Okay, now for me, right, I will be going ahead with the tar based installation here also. Okay, even I will be having RPM, but I won't prefer that. I will go with tar based installation. Now also I will get this command, wget command. I can straight away copy paste this one. This is my application server. Okay, now as I mentioned, the Splunk always should be installed on cd. Splunk should be always installed on cd/opt. Now I will directly download my package here itself. This is the Splunk forwarder. Now I will be extracting tar-zxvf to extract, and this is the Splunk ls. Now it has created a directory called Splunk forwarder. Okay, now the process is same. If I want to start this agent, right, I have to go to cd opt. Previously in indexer I went to Splunk. Now I have to go to Splunk forwarder, Splunk forwarder /bin, and if I want to start, same Splunk start -- accept license, and I will be giving some username. Okay, here you won't have this. If you see here, no, it is opening only management port. It is not opening any UI port. The Splunk universal forwarder won't have any UI. It is a 40 MB or some 39 MB file. So you will be having, it will open only one port called 8089 to communicate with the other components. Okay, my Splunk universal forwarder is started. As per my diagram, I have to go to which path? OPT Splunk forwarder etc system local, and I have to create something like a inputs.conf. Okay, I will do this now. Vim, or I will go there. cd/opt Splunk forwarder etc system local. Here you will have only server.conf. Okay, now I will be creating one file called inputs.conf. Here I have to mention what? I have to put my monitor stanza colon followed by this log, and I have to put my index, and I have to put disabled is equal to 0, and something like source type is equal to something I have to give. Okay, I will give something like, I will open monitor colon 2 forward slashes followed by the path. Okay, till now, right, I haven't created that directory itself, mkdir/app. Okay, I have created this directory, and I will create one file called /app abc.log. This is my first line. Okay. ls/app. I will check whether the file is created or not. App abc.log. Okay, this is my first line that is present. Now here I have already created my inputs.conf. Vim inputs.conf. Here I have to provide the path. If it is a Linux system, now I have to provide here something like slash oh, slash path name like app slash abc.log. Okay, if it is a Windows machine, now how I have to mention? Now here I have to mention c colon slash, the path will be there, right? This I have to mention. If it is a Linux, app slash abc.log. Okay, this is the file. Now I have to put my index is equal to, where it has to go, in index is equal to abc. Okay, I have to put disable equal to 0, and this disable is equal to 0 means it will send the logs. If I want to stop sending the logs now, you can turn off this index by putting as 1. Now what I will do, I have to mention something like the source type. Source type I will give as Apache. Okay, this is the configuration we mentioned now: index, disable, and source type. These 3 should be sufficient. Cat inputs.conf. Now I have to create something like outputs.conf. Outputs.conf, I will be mentioning where the data has to go. Input.conf, I will mention what has to go. In outputs.conf, I will mention where it has to go. So in outputs.conf, I have to mention something like TCP port. So TCP out colon something like ABC. I will give some group name. Okay, I can give TCP out ABC followed by server. Where it has to go? I have to get the public IP. The public IP of my indexer is this. Okay, colon 9997. This is what I have mentioned. No, here I have to mention my IP address followed by the port. Now I've done this configuration. Now I will go to here, right? I will log into this UI. Here in apps, there will be something like search and reporting. Okay. In search and reporting, no, here you will be having one pane where you will be writing the queries. Index is equal to, I will give as ABC. You won't get the data. Okay. Now I have done some changes in my application server. I have to I have to restart the universal forwarder now. Now, how I have to restart, right? cd/opt splunk bin. Okay. /splunk restart. So here it will show something like if there is any errors, no, it will show here. Okay. Here, whenever I restart, right, it is showing like checking the input.configuration file and it is showing like disabled value something we got. Okay, I can verify here cvim/opt splunk forwarder etc system local inputs monitor index is equal to abc DISA correct only, right? Spelling or I can remove this one. Now it is bounced, right? Now I will go and check here. This is my first line. I got no. Now what I will do, right? I will add one more line here. I will go to my universal forwarder. Sorry, I will go to my application and I will open the log vim/app abc.log. I will append this file. This is my second line and I am saving it. Now I will go back to my Splunk UI and click on search. I got no. This is my second line. Okay. So whatever the data the Splunk sends now, here if you see, right, it is associating some timestamp to it. This timestamp is not present in my text file, correct? So what Splunk will do, right, whenever it sends a data, right, it will add the timestamp to it, and this is called the metadata. Host name from which the request came, and source is what is the log name, and source type is what is type of log it is, like it is like a Tomcat or MySQL or Oracle log, something like that. Okay, or it is a JSON file. Okay, now I am able to send the logs here. If I append, if I stream that, or if I send the logs, it will be appended, and in this I will be able to see here. I can write one more thing. This is third line. I no need to restart. Now it will come. Okay, now what I will do, right, it throwed one error, no, like opt splunk forwarder etc system local inputs.conf. Here I will put again the same disable equals to 0. Actually it won't throw any error. In 8.1.1, right, it used to work fine till yesterday. Let me check. Okay, till yesterday it was with 8.1, no, or I can put something like, did they change it to this one? Okay, they have removed that, it seems. You can check in the demo section. The same flag used to work on 8.1.1. Okay, yesterday we had one demo session. Now you can check there. It used to work fine there. In this latest version, it is throwing error. Okay, any doubts? Now I'm able to receive the logs now whenever I add. If you have any questions, I will take. If you don't have any questions, okay. Now you are all unmuted.
Vikram, from this class, we can start practicing now.
Yes, you can start.
Vikram, can we get this class in recording section so that we'll start practicing?
Yeah, sure. Sure. I will intimate them. Okay.
Okay. Thank you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have any questions now, I will stop. Else I will take.
Vikram, if the Splunk is installed successfully or not, means if it starts, if we use the start command, if it starts, then only it is been successfully done or not. That's all. No? Otherwise, is there any other
If
check
there is
we can check?
configuration, if there is any configuration mismatch, right, it will, while starting, it will check the files. If there any mismatch, no, it will show that file itself.
Okay, it will not start itself.
Yeah. You can check the logs also. So the logs will be present somewhere here. Okay, cd/opt splunk. Okay, /log splunk where log. Okay, cd splunk. This is the directory. there will be one log called like Splunk dig. You can check here if the data is sent or not or something. No, if there is any error, it will be displayed here.
Okay, got it.
This is the directory opt Splunk var log Splunk. Okay. Okay, so I'm done for today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.